Greetings everyone, and a happy Valentine's Day to you all. Thank you for joining in this episode of The Gift of Giving. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this program features individuals who are working for foundations, with foundations or non-profits here in the state of Nevada, making our world and community a better place. And certainly the guest today, no exception. I'd like to welcome John Williams from the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation.
Thank you, sir.
And we also have Rosalind Jameson from MedTime Foundation that helps John. And we also have Brock Fraser from the Las Vegas Rotary Club that also helps John with the wheelchairs. So let's get started. First of all, welcome all to the program. Thank you for taking time out and being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
So John, let's start with you. What is the mission of the organization? I mean, obviously it's to build wheelchairs, but when was it founded and what's your goal?
It's very simple. We started in 2002, and our mission is to make sure anybody in Nevada that needs a wheelchair that can't afford one, get one. Very simple. From 35 pounds up to 400-pound recipients.
Wow.
Yeah, we make sure they get one.
Good for
No
you.
questions asked. Undocumented. We don't care. And but we want them to use their insurance first.
Sure.
But if they can't, if there's a loophole, they don't have insurance, we come up.
I'd like to touch on that a little bit, but first of all, before we get into the weeds and the specifics, at one time you used to be a TV show host yourself, a radio show host yourself.
Radio.
How did radio? Okay.
Yeah.
How did you transition? What was?
Well,
that's quite a leap too for you from radio show to making wheelchairs.
It's funny. No, it's funny because our show was Nexus Las Vegas, the center of communication. Exactly what you guys do. I only had nonprofits on, service clubs.
Okay, I know that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, as you know, the money is pretty expensive to get on, and my voice is kind of went south, so it was time to move on.
Okay.
But I was just talking to Rosalind. I'd love to get it going again. Awareness is everything.
Absolutely.
And getting people work together is everything. Yes. And I actually did that. I got the Kiwanis working with the Rotary's working with the Lions, and everybody's working together, and that's my goal.
That's your goal. Good for you. Good for you. And you were saying about there are no questions asked. They have to go through their insurance first. So that's the only means. That's the only means test you put them through.
Yeah, but we don't ask. We don't take Social Security. We don't. If they just tell us, I can't get a wheelchair, I can't afford one, they're going to get one.
Okay.
No questions asked.
Okay.
None. And
Would you prefer that this has to be a lifelong need, in addition to not being able to afford it? But
that's a
you
good
can't
one,
break your leg and say I need one for 6 weeks.
Yes, I gotcha. So yes, it's people that
permanent condition.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
That is, thanks,
Yes.
Brock. Yeah, and actually our terminology is changing basically for permanent use, because sometimes basically means 80% of the day.
Yes.
So now, we used to say permanent use, now we broke it down to basically permanent. We just want to give the wheelchairs out. We got a lot.
I'm sure. Now, is it wheelchairs? Do you do walkers as well, or only?
No, just wheelchairs only.
Wheelchairs.
That's our mission, and they have to be brand new. When somebody passes away or they don't need the wheelchair anymore, I send them to MEMRA or MedTime, or I donate them to hospitals, but I can't take them back. No. My mission statement is brand new wheelchairs, so I have to stick with it.
So you have to stay with that.
Yeah.
So let's bring you in at this point, Rosalind. So how did you fit into the picture? He segued into very nicely. So tell us a little bit about your role and your function.
Okay,
with Nevada Wheelchair Foundation.
My name is Rosalind Jameson. I'm with MedTime, and MedTime was founded because I went through a hardship with my spouse. He was a paramedic fireman, and he had a work comp injury that he eventually passed. And so I thought about helping other people. And in the midst of helping other people, we do hospital bed wheelchairs and walkers and things like that. But we also needed wheelchairs. So that was the reason that I could connect it with John, and John provide that to us for the people that need the wheelchairs. And so we started working together, and we've been working together for
20
years.
years almost?
Yes.
20 years.
Yes.
Jesus.
Amazing. I said the other day, I couldn't believe it's been that long, but we started working together, and John would give me 50 wheelchairs, 16-inch, 18-inch, 20-inch, and they will be provided to the people that need it free of no cost. And so we just been working together. We've been providing for the community in a time of need. And it's been
Okay.
amazing, amazing friendship, amazing network. We've been working together, and it's awesome.
That's cool. That's cool. Now, are the wheelchairs that they custom made, or you just churn them out?
Basically, they're manual wheelchairs. They're not custom made. We just have
Okay.
like 4 or 5 different sizes.
Sizes.
And the new ones that we got, we'll talk about the pediatrics. They have the raised leg rest. We have the wheelchairs for kids with CP that lean back. They're about $1,000 each. And I got them through the Ingolstadt Foundation. I got to say thank you to them because they stepped up. And, you know, we have thousands of wheelchairs. And it takes people like you. Now, awareness is everything.
Yes, it is. Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm probably the only nonprofit that I don't ask for money. I don't need to. I'm lucky, pass on, you know. I need awareness. Awareness. I can have 1,000 wheelchairs like I have now, but what good is it if I can't get them out? So I'm lucky. I have the Ingolstadt. I have my brother, Don Williams, that founded the Wheelchair Foundation. He passed away just recently. I have David Barron from the Barron Global Educational Foundation. They do the world. They've helped 1.4 million people. But we'll get into how we started the Nevada chapter. But so that's how we operate. We just you know, just want to help everybody, make it simple.
Yes.
And we don't want to get the government involved. Just
No,
and we need awareness.
And, well, I'm sorry for both of your losses, but both of you are certainly making a difference. There's no
Oh.
question about that. You've been around for 20-odd years.
Yes.
How many wheelchairs would you say that you've actually delivered over the years? Do you have an idea?
11,500.
11,500.
If people
That's
had to pay
huge.
for the wheelchairs, we saved the residents of Nevada $3.4 million. And it's just my wife, part-time, me, and very good friends.
Uh-huh.
We did. We don't have a staff. We don't have a PR group. We don't have a secretary. I'm the truck driver. I'm the loader. I deliver wheelchairs all week long. When I can't do it, then the Rotary steps up, or I send them to Roslyn. I mean,
And
We're
we
going
get
to
them-
come back. We're going to touch on the delivery in the second segment of this program because you say you cover all of Nevada. So
Nevada.
we'd like to talk a little bit about that and the
Sure.
complexities and the simplicities, if there
Sure.
are any, later on. You were saying about awareness. People need to be aware. How does public become aware? How have they become aware of your program? You delivered all these wheelchairs. How have they known about it?
Yeah, well,
Because you don't advertise. You said
no.
you don't get
we
government
don't
grants.
we
or-
don't advertise. I never spent a penny in advertising in 20 years.
Yeah.
I go to every Kiwanis meeting, every Rotary. Next week I go to Reno, or 2 weeks I go to Reno. I have two then I go to Elko for Rotary. Then I go to the Lions Club at Pahrump. We call every hospital, every hospice, every senior center, send them flyers. We do it the old-fashioned way.
I was going to ask if you network or partner with the hospitals here. And,
Yeah, we do.
And especially senior centres. Lord knows
Senior
there's
centers
senior
is
centres.
very well. And,
Yes.
I would say maybe 20% of them are from senior centers.
Now, senior centres, that's there's different kinds of senior centres as well. You've got like the Henderson Senior Centre and the Las Vegas Senior Centre, but then you've also got these assisted living senior centres and independent
Rehabs.
living. Yes, and the rehabs. Do you deal with those as well? Do you go
Oh,
and
yeah,
talk to them and-
assisted living. My mom is an assisted living. She's 97. And, they got to pay a ridiculous amount of money, $5,000 to $6,000, $7,000 a month, right?
and then some.
So people say, oh, they don't need wheelchairs because, look, if they can afford, no. My mom, I have to come up with money. My mom's savings accounts, we got to make up that difference. We don't have it. My mom does. She needs if she needed a wheelchair, she would have to pay for one, even though she's in a nice place.
Yes.
So yeah, assisted living is very important.
Yes.
I mean, I like to volunteer, donate wheelchairs to each one, just so my name on back of it says Nevada Wheelchair Foundation. It's good advertising.
Yes.
We get calls.
Yeah.
There you go. Good for you. We're just going to take a little bit of a break. We'll come back and talk about more about this foundation and your involvement too, Brock. And we're going to take a little sponsorship break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
At Lucia Capital Group, we've been helping people manage risk and plan for their future through some of the most challenging market conditions. Volatility in the stock market will never go away, so it's really all about your strategy and how you react to it. Our bucket strategy aims to help you manage your financial goals even during the most uncertain times. I'm Joshua Dowden. I've been working with clients here for more than 16 years, and I can help you as well. My office is right here in the heart of Summerlin, just north of Charleston Boulevard. Don't let the stock market determine the quality of your retirement. Call me today for a free consultation. 702-508-6421. That's 702-508-6421.
Thank you, Joshua Dowden from Lucia Capital Group, for sponsoring this program, and thank you for all the advice you've given me over the years. And welcome back to our guests who are representing the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation. So let's get to the delivery, because you've said that you deliver across the whole state of Nevada, and we've got a lot of very remote places in Nevada where it's not always airplane friendly or even road friendly. You know, we've got a lot of little very remote places. Who gets to deliver those, or how does that work? Is
All
that
of
where
us. All of us.
but is that
almost
that
like-
your responsibility or main?
Well,
is that
I've
where you're
worked-
in mainly?
I have worked with John. We've been to Reno because there are there's Kiwanis and there's Rotary up there who help in those areas delivering wheelchairs. And then I know that John's been to Ely and Elko and working with some of the service clubs like the Lions and so forth to disseminate them in those areas. But John's got a big truck with the Wheelchair Foundation, and we can haul 100 and some odd wheelchairs up to these more remote areas.
Yeah, well, because there are quite a few like Caliente and
Sure.
Sandy Valley and places
We have
like
a
that.
Rotary
Where
member that handles that area.
We have a Rotary member that has a place
okay.
up near Caliente and Pioche, and so he always takes a bunch of chairs with him. And
boy, well, you've got to have big vans or trucks. I mean, these don't just sort of fit on the back seat of a car or on the passenger seat of a car. So,
No, we have a big diesel box truck, and
Jeepers.
Brock and I got 100 in there. And I just asked him 20 minutes ago. I said, Brock, you want to go to Reno next week? So, we got to distribute them, and that was a great question because it is our service clubs and volunteers that distribute. We send 50 to Elko, and then they distribute them, so I don't have to do it. They take full control of the distribution. They do the little paperwork. Ely does the same, so we don't have to send one at a time. We drop off 20 here, 10 here, 100 there, and then they do the paperwork, send them to Ivy, and then we book it. So we try to
Okay.
keep it simple.
Yeah, I wondered how that communication worked. Do you suddenly get a notification from, say, your group in Elko that says, we need 10 or we need 20? Or do you just say, it's time we send 20 off to Elko?
It goes both ways, I think.
Yes. So if you send like 20 to the place in Elko and they only need 5, then they've got somewhere to store these 15, or do they respond and say, don't send us 20, we don't have the place to store them, we just need 5?
That's exactly what happens.
So yes, you do.
Sounds like you know what.
No, it's just
That's
I'm just trying
exactly
to
what
figure out the
happens.
practical way, because you don't have a full-time staff of 50 people monitoring each. You don't have a staff member for each city or town in Nevada, and you've got to get these. If people need them, I guess
and you're
they
dealing
need them.
and you're dealing with volunteers the whole time.
Volunteers show up one day and you might not see them for a month.
Yes.
I mean, And luckily, knock on wood, every time a container came in, I have my A-team there. And if they might be all on vacation, not all. And then I have my backup volunteers, neighbors, family. I call everybody. That's Rockno. I get on that phone and say, I got 300 coming in 2 days. I need help. Rosalind's helped. Her gang's helped.
And you help store them, right?
Yes.
If you get a whole load coming in and you don't have the storage space, you'll offload them onto Rosalind.
That one picture that I showed you, that's Rosalind's warehouse.
Yes.
12 feet high.
I'm sure John's going to have that when your program gets aired.
When the container comes in that holds like close to 300 wheelchairs, we have 1 hour to get them all off of that truck.
Yep.
Otherwise, they start charging us extra. So we got to hustle like
an
hell.
hour.
Yeah,
Wow.
And they're not on
$100
skids.
an hour.
in 1 hour.
And
Yes.
you should see us. I mean, just the last load,
Yeah.
we had about, 10 of us there? And we were just moving and stacking and
I
stacking.
couldn't even
Yes.
take inventory because I had to get them off the
Off the
truck.
truck.
There you go.
And
Wow.
it came 8 o'clock sharp,
Yep.
ready to go.
In the morning, I hope.
Yes.
I hope it's not nighttime where they're charging double
Right,
time.
yeah.
Hospitals and emergencies. Let's say people, and it happens every day, sadly, people are in car crashes and they lose their legs and their limbs, and hospitals need wheelchairs. Do you have an emergency supply that you keep to one side for hospitals, or do you deliver in the same way 20 or 30 to this hospital?
Basically, that's when the Rotary comes in because they hand deliver. And Brock loves to hand deliver. He speaks Spanish too, and
That helps.
so he does most of all our Spanish-speaking people. And sometimes we can do it in 2 hours. I've seen it in 2 hours, in 1 hour. I send it to him, and he sends a picture back. The hospitals, we're very careful because we give them to recipients only, because I found the hospitals require a wheelchair to get out.
Right.
So they take my wheelchair, they get out, and they leave my wheelchair outside. Many times. So now I don't give them to hospitals, I give them to individuals that's going to take that wheelchair, take it home, and use it
There
for
you go.
years
Gotcha.
to come. So the hospitals have more money than us, so I'm not going to supply them with wheelchairs. I don't give them an inventory, but if their patient needs a wheelchair, they get
send
one.
them.
We don't deliver to hospitals anyway, because when the patient gets home, then we deliver it. We don't. It's hard. It's
Okay.
hard to
Well,
get
you
up there.
prefer those calls to me because I have wheelchairs
That's it.
that I lend out.
Okay.
Yes.
But the hospital does contact you and say, can you deliver a wheelchair to this individual?
Absolutely.
So the original source comes from the hospital, and you get all the particulars, names and addresses, when they're going to get home
Absolutely.
and what have you. Then how do you know, you say you make 5 different sizes of wheelchairs. How do you determine which sizes go to what place? Or-
Basically, it's weight, but you know, you can be 120 pounds and be this wide.
Yes.
And so we try to go weights. We know we're pretty much right on, don't you guys think?
Yeah.
But sometimes somebody weighs 140, but they go into a 20-inch wheelchair because they're just short and wide. So the weight is the most important. We're getting pretty good at it. I mean, once in a while we have to exchange it, and we don't mind exchanging it.
Yes.
Just an inconvenience for the people because they have to wait a day or so and get back.
Now, do you get many calls just from people doing a random Google search, and up comes the Nevada Wheelchair Foundation? They'll just call you and say, we want a wheelchair, and my name's Joe Doe.
We're number 1 on Google, and people pay to be number 1.
That's
If
right.
you Google wheelchairs for Nevada, we're number 1. And we never paid for anything. So I'm real proud of, and that's because of people like you again. They're going to see this, and they're going to Google, and when I'm on an AM, FM show, that gets so much attention. And then people can't remember, so they Google, they go, I know, wheelchairs Nevada. Boom,
Yes.
it comes up.
Yes.
So luckily, we're number 1, and I'm proud of that.
Hey, justly so. That, as you said, that's not easy to get number 1 on Google. And well,
That's right.
certainly some of the, if there's been a recent increase, it's certainly been through my searching and reading and what have you. So, and volunteers, I think we touched on volunteers. You don't pay volunteers, you've just got all these organizations supporting you.
We need the volunteer. We couldn't do it without the volunteer. It's just put it
No.
black and white. I could not do it myself. And Ivy can't do it. She works full-time, part-time with somebody else. Volunteers is my backbone. If I didn't have my volunteer service clubs, we wouldn't be around. We couldn't do it.
That's where John calls us. There's a group of about 8 of us
Yeah.
in the Rotary Club, in our Las Vegas Rotary Club, and he calls us his A-team. And we were just talking about unloading those containers. You know, the bulk of us show up for that. But then all week long, we'll get a phone call from Ivy or John saying, hey, I've got a wheelchair that needs to go to such and such on Las Vegas Boulevard North. And we, each of us, keep an inventory of wheelchairs, and out the door we go with a delivery to Jose Mendez, you know. And I love getting the Latinos because I can relate to them and get them delivered. And it is amazingly gratifying.
Of course.
Amazingly gratifying.
Well, giving back is, it is gratifying. But I think your point's well made. I think any non-profit, unless they have the volunteers and the donations, none of them can survive. It's the volunteers and the donations that come in that keep all these organizations afloat.
Exactly.
We're going to take another sponsorship break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about how the Wheelchair Foundation here in Nevada gets funded and how they manage to make all these people very happy and make it work. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Introducing Pacific Coast Capital, your partner in finance. We provide financing for your business. Speed, flexibility, and creativity are the foundation of our service. We'll help you navigate through change and opportunities. Our 90-plus years of experience ensures quick turnaround on loan decisions. Ride the wave to prosperity with us. Ready for new funding? Visit our website today at pacificcoastcap.com.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for staying with us. And I'd like to thank you, Pacific Coast Capital, for supporting this program. And welcome back to our guests. So let's talk about the funding of your organization. How do you actually get the money? Who oversees that? Is that you or Brock?
No,
or combination?
it happens to be me on this one, since I'm the director. My brother started it. He came up back in 2002, and he said, John, I'm starting a wheelchair foundation, and I don't know nothing about it. I said, what am I going to do? And he says, well, figure it out. You're the state director. So he sent me 4,000 wheelchairs, and I'm sitting at the Imperial Palace. That's what my brother owned, the auto collections at the Imperial Palace. And I said, what am I going to do? And he said, John, just figure it out. I didn't know better. I called the governor, Gwen, and knowing that I can't talk to him, I had to talk to everybody else. 1 second later, hi, this is Governor Gwen. So I went down, talked to the governor, and then I went and saw Harry Reid, John Ensign, boom, the TV channels, Channel 13, Fisher King, Marie Montero, they all followed me because it was a big thing. So, man, we got big real fast. And then we retired after 6 years, came back in 2018, and I met Richard Harris Law Firm, Rick. He is a gold mine. If I run out of pediatric wheelchairs or something, I just pick up the phone and Rick is there. 1 minute. He just loves what we do. Yeah. And when we do a show, Rick is right there, and as Brock knows, in Roswell, he's giving hugs too. He just doesn't give the money and forget it. He's right there. And my good friend Dallas Horton, same thing. Dallas Law Firm, unbelievable. They're friends. They became friends. And that's how we're supported. We, and you make fundraisers. I do a fundraiser. I might have a little concert, make $2,000. We don't, my priority is awareness. So I don't even like the word fundraiser. I don't like, when they want to donate $10, $20 to me, the recipients, we don't take it. Because if they can't afford a wheelchair, they can't give me. And then that's when the Rotary and Rosslyn comes, because if they can't afford a wheelchair, they probably need adult diapers. Well, they need this. Rosslyn has everything. So I said, just go. So we all help each other. In Rotary, we do so much with the schools. And that's when Brock, we deliver more than wheelchairs. We do a lot for the community, but wheelchairs is our base, and we spread out.
But the Dallas Horton and Rick Harris genuinely care, and they do it really. We've gotten to know them over the years.
Yeah.
They do it from the the generosity of their hearts,
From the heart.
and they don't do it for any publicity or anything like that. They just like helping our community, and they love what
What
you
you
know
do.
what we
What
do
we
with
do.
this Nevada Wheelchair Foundation.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful men.
Okay, that's great. And it's nice to have that rock solid support that you can go to if you get really low. It's
It's very
yes,
important.
it's
very,
nice to have that backbone that's not going to let you fall through the cracks. They're going
Nope.
to be there to lift you up. And
And
get
they
you
can fall through the cracks real
Yes,
fast.
very easily. Sure, for sure, no question. You said you don't do that many fundraisers, but do you actually have any coming up anytime soon?
We teamed up since we got the new pediatric wheelchairs. I don't know much about. I got the best pediatric wheelchairs there is. So I'm going with the Silver State Pediatric Hospital on Charleston. We're going to do something on Valentine's Day.
Oh,
And,
that's today.
Today.
That's today. So
Right.
come along tonight.
Yeah, where am I?
Give us the details.
Well, you know what we're going to introduce our wheelchairs, and I just can't wait to get there.
And where's it going to be held?
I don't have the address. I just know how to get there. Silver State Pediatric
So it's
On
Google it.
West
And what
Charleston.
time?
on
that
West
correct?
Charleston. Yes.
And what?
It's
what
like
time?
Charleston and Arville, and it'd be about 4 o'clock.
About 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Google it and try and be there, folks. The organisation could certainly use your support and certainly awareness. And I did want to touch on the paediatrics as well, because you mentioned you have these standard wheelchairs. What if they're like children in car crashes and
We
they're
got
real
'em.
small, tiny ones? Young 4 or 5 years old. They're going to get
Yeah.
lost in one of these big wheelchairs. And you have
We got 'em
you've
right
now got
now.
the
They're
paediatric
fit little
ones.
30-pound little kids,
How
and they're so
perfect is
cute, those
that?
and
wheelchairs.
cute, and they are awesome.
The
They
feet.
are awesome.
Yeah, and we also had the wheelchairs for kids with CP. And so now they can lean back. They're about $1,000 each. So we're giving out like $100,000 worth of that. So we need awareness. I have these beautiful wheelchairs. I just need awareness now. So I'm so happy. I tell you, the pediatrics put us back on the map.
Good. Well, that's great, and that's part of the purpose of this program, to try and get you guys money, trying to get you volunteers, and trying to raise awareness. That's the whole purpose.
Yeah, we don't
And you've
turn
been
that
down
away.
that road yourself, because you were a radio host doing exactly what's going on here now. So,
It's just awareness, and that's what you do.
well, that's the goal. If we make that happen, then we're accomplishing our goal, like you're accomplishing yours.
Speaking of the pediatric, I just got, right before Christmas, delivered a wheelchair to a Latino family up in North Las Vegas, living in a low-rent apartment house. Their problem had been, they have a 14-year-old son who is disabled from the waist down, and he has cognitive
Impairment.
impairments also, and their car was stolen with the wheelchair in it. And the tears of gratitude were just, and it was for a youngster. We took him a 16-inch chair, and Mom just picked him up, lifted him in, and he just smiled in his brand new red wheelchair. He was so proud of his new wheelchair.
So many stories like that.
I think that is a beautiful story to end this program on. It's very nice, heartwarming, and uplifting. It's sad what happened, but the fact that you were there to come through
help make
and
it
help
better.
it make it better. We thank you for everything that you're doing with the Wheelchair Foundation. Brock, Rosalind, John, it's been an absolute pleasure having you all on this program today, and please keep up the good work.
Glad to be here. Thank
we
you.
wish you great success going forward.
And thanks for having us.
You're welcome. And I'd like to thank John Stiles, our show's producer, for being with us today, and also WWDBTV for allowing me to host this program. And before I close out, there was one thing I did want to say. Please give us how we can contact you. Do you have a website address?
Yeah, we have
a
the
phone
web.
number?
It's very simple. The Nevada Wheelchair Foundation or you can call us at 702-900-3362, request a wheelchair, and that's that
Okay.
simple.
Perfect. Okay, so now you've got the contact information to everybody. And I'd also like to thank our sponsors, Pacific Coast Capital and Lucia Capital Group. Boy, that's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? But I'd like to thank you both for sponsoring this program, as well as my business partner for 25 years, Ralph Champion. His message will appear at the screen right at the end of this program. And I'd certainly like to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed this show. Please share it with your friends and anyone who needs the help of these good folk here. And please stay safe, be kind to one another, and we'll see you next week when we will be hosting somebody from the arts. It's Brotherhood in the Broadway in the Hood, helping others open doors, and it's about an organization helping people in the arts from underprivileged neighborhoods. Again, be kind to one another, stay safe. See you next week. Bye.
Thank you.
Mr. R.J. Champion is proud to sponsor WWDB-TV's series, The Gift of Giving, and wishes the program much success. Congratulations and gratitude to the featured guests and the organizations they represent. Our community is well served by your tireless efforts to make Nevada a better state for all its residents.